The house called Shanti Nevas seemed calm and serene from the outside, a picture of peace with its quiet walls and cozy appearance. But anyone who dared to look closely would feel the darkness hidden behind its facade, the secrets that stirred and awakened as night fell. It was nestled in a remote part of Gurugram, isolated from the bustling streets, and yet the air around it carried an eerie tension, as though the house itself was alive. Within these walls lived a family, Mayank, his wife Yamini, and their little daughter, Thapki. On that day, Thapki was celebrating her birthday, and the house, for all its secrets, held a temporary warmth that belied the shadows creeping in the corners. Thapki's excitement was infectious. She danced around the room, her laughter echoing, unaware of the sinister undertones around her. Yamini watched her daughter with a mixture of love and unease, trying to balance the joy of the occasion with a gnawing worry that had been growing in her heart. The birthday celebration was simple: a small cake adorned with chocolate, a single candle flickering gently on top, and the soft glow illuminating Thapki's sparkling eyes. But Yamini's own expression was tense. Dark circles under her eyes hinted at sleepless nights, nights haunted by thoughts she could not share, fears she could not voice. As Thapki ran toward the living room, guided by her parents, she was oblivious to the uneasy atmosphere. Mayank had noticed Yamini's anxiety and understood her silent fears. He knew there were things that could not be spoken aloud, secrets and shadows that clung to their lives, waiting for the night to descend fully. Thapki reached the cake with glee, her small hands reaching out, but Yamini's eyes lingered elsewhere, scanning the corners and shadows with a mother's instinct, a fear she could not ignore. The candlelight danced across the room, but in the periphery, something else seemed to flicker and move, unnoticed by Thapki, but deeply felt by Yamini. After the brief celebration, as night settled over the house, Yamini prepared to put Thapki to bed. Her daughter's room, a small pink sanctuary filled with toys and stuffed animals, seemed comforting enough. Yet a chill ran through the air as Yamini noticed the window ajar. Across the street, a strange woman's gaze was fixed on the room, her eyes hollow and unsettling. Yamini quickly drew the curtains, warning Thapki never to open the window at night. There was a strange tension, a silent warning in the very air, as if the night itself was conspiring against them. Below, Mayank was tidying up when the doorbell rang. It was the watchman, shivering in the cold and asking for a light. Mayank fetched a match, the small flame nervously flickering, and handed it to the man. For a brief moment, the ordinary world intruded. Casual questions, polite exchanges, but the darkness lingered just beyond, as if waiting for the right moment to pounce. Mayank's kindness, innocent as it was, seemed to invite the night's lurking horrors closer. The watchman left, but the unease remained, thick and pressing, like the heavy silence before a storm. As the night deepened, Mayank and Yamini went to bed, the house settling into an uneasy quiet. Yet hours later, Yamini awoke to the sound of a child crying. Her heart raced as she rushed out, expecting to find Thapki, only to discover the source of the cries in the hall. Thapki was nowhere in her room. Every instinct screamed danger, and yet the house was silent, but for the faint sobbing echoing from shadowed corners. Yamini moved cautiously, every step measured, the floorboards creaking like whispers of unseen watchers. Behind her, something seemed to move, brushing past invisibly, sending shivers racing down her spine. She found the hall's curtains swaying unnaturally in the dim light, and in the shadows, a small figure hunched over, weeping. It was Thapki, her head bowed, trembling violently, but the way she cried was not entirely natural.
Yamini knelt beside her, soothing, but a cold dread had already settled over her. My uncle stirred awake, drawn by Yamini's voice, and together they realized that the house had shifted in its nature. The walls were no longer just walls, but hiding places for something far darker. Searching frantically, they discovered that every familiar space was now alien, their daughter slipping through their fingers like a phantom. Even the watchman, the one of supposed safety, had vanished from the threshold where he should have been. Desperation took hold. My uncle called the police, his hands trembling, his voice thick with panic. But before help could arrive, Yamini had run into the night, her frantic steps carrying her across alleys and empty streets, pulling at garbage bins, searching for a trace of her child. My uncle followed, each shadow in the darkness seeming to twist into monstrous forms, the night alive with malevolent intent. Hours passed in a blur of terror, screams, and running. Thopke, driven by a mix of fear and some unexplainable force, seemed both lost and guided by something unseen. When my uncle finally collapsed in exhaustion, a family friend, Gita, intervened, giving him a sedative to calm his panicked mind. Yet even as he slept, the shadows lingered, the house's secret waiting, patient, watching. The story's horror deepened with revelation. 3 years prior, Thopke and Yamini had died in a catastrophic train accident during a hurried journey to Yamini's hometown. My aunt had never truly accepted their deaths, spiraling into madness, merging the realms of dreams and reality. Gita, his sister, had tried to protect him, to explain the truth, but each attempt only drove him further into hallucinations where Thopke and Yamini lived on, preserved in his mind. The night's events were not just misfortune, they were the fragile veil between memory, grief, and something supernatural pressing in from the shadows. My uncle's hallucinations grew more intense with every passing moment. The house was no longer just a home, but a theater of terror, where walls whispered, windows watched, and memories played tricks on the mind. Gita did her best, balancing work and care, but the night brought risks she could not control. Even a small error by the watchman could have unleashed unimaginable consequences. The house, my uncle, the lingering spirits of Thopke and Yamini all teetered on the edge between the real and the unreal. In the end, the story leaves you with a chilling awareness. Grief, guilt, and the unseen forces of the night can twist ordinary spaces into realms of fear. The quiet house of Shanti Nevas hides countless secrets, some born of tragedy, others of the supernatural, and every corner, every shadow holds the potential to consume those who are unprepared. The narrative doesn't simply show horror, it drags you into the suffocating tension, the claustrophobic dread, the constant uncertainty of what is real and what is a manifestation of fear. Every smile, every laugh, every cry becomes a thread in the fabric of suspense, pulling the reader or viewer deeper into the story, leaving them trembling at the thought that perhaps the house is still alive, still watching, and waiting for the next night to unleash its horrors again. Even as you close this tale, the lingering sense of dread remains. The quiet streets outside Shanti Nevas, the flickering lights, the soft whispers in empty rooms, they remind you that some stories never truly end. My uncle, Thopke, and Yamini may be bound by memory and grief, but the house and its darkness continue to exist, patient and eternal, a reminder that some horrors are not bound by time or logic, and that the night has secrets it will never relinquish.